Hello, I'm Russ Ray, and we are pleased to have join us today one of the nation's most recognized experts in the area of data and identity theft. Jay Foley is the co-founder and director of the Identity Theft Resource Center, and he joins us today from San Diego. Jay, thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me on.
First of all, Jay, tell us what you do there at the ID Theft Resource Center.
The Identity Theft Resource Center is a nonprofit, grant and donation funded organization that assists victims of identity theft in dealing with the basic mess that has been created by the acts of an imposter.
One of the first things the Macomb School of Business did when they learned of this data theft was to notify the people impacted as soon as possible. How important is this?
That's extremely important. Prompt notification of those people who've been exposed to an identity theft breach is very key. It allows the individuals to place fraud alerts on their credit reports. It allows them to at least get a little bit of advanced warning into the system. So if somebody's out there trying to open up accounts, there's a bigger possibility of them being flagged and stopped.
What can a thief do with information like name, date of birth, social security numbers?
Well, a combination of name and birth date means that I, the thief, can use that when I'm getting stopped by the Texas Department of Public Safety for speeding. I give up your name and your birth date instead of my own, and what's going to happen is they're going to write out a citation for not having my license with me and for whatever violation I created. It's going to end up on your doorstep and not on mine. Your name and your social security number, well, that's the key to opening up credit and accessing your credit and having some fun. And the bottom line here and the key factor is you have to remember the thieves have a different mindset than we do. We who think about, okay, this is the credit rate, this is the interest rate, this is the payment stream. All they care about is how much money am I getting out of this. They're not going to care one iota about what the payments are or how much it's going to cost you to clean up the mess.
And what would you recommend for people to do to protect themselves?
Well, the first and foremost thing we always recommend is place fraud alerts with the 3 credit reporting agencies, Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. Those fraud alerts last for 90 days. So every 90 days, renew the fraud alert so that you have a continuous blanket of coverage. It is a warning placed on your credit report. Please contact me first before granting credit in my name. It works fairly well, and it does help cut down on the amount of fraud and loss that's involved in these situations.
How long should people closely monitor their credit who are impacted by this data theft?
Well, monitoring the credit or looking at your credit reports on an annual basis, I would say I would do that for the next 5 years. The fraud alerts I would keep in place for at least 2 years.
If someone has had their credit card used fraudulently, is it possible that that is in direct correlation to the data theft incident at the Macomb School of Business?
I doubt it seriously, simply because of the fact that there were no credit cards numbers involved in the data that was stored at the University of Texas. It is my understanding that it was names, social security numbers, and dates of birth. No account numbers of any other type were involved. Therefore, the thieves should not be getting access to any of your other accounts because of this data breach. The biggest concern here will be the opening of new lines of credit utilizing your information. The secondary largest problem will be somebody trying to work or live as you using your personal information.
How would someone know if an identity theft was the result of the data theft at the Macomb School of Business?
The only way that they're going to know that for fact will be to actually have the thief, the imposter, apprehended and be able to track it all the way back to the actual breach itself. To date, there has not been a single case where they've been able to do that.
Jay, is there anything else that people watching this should keep in mind?
One of the most key important things to understand about this breach is you are not a victim of identity theft yet. You are exposed. It's sort of like being exposed to the measles. It doesn't guarantee that you're going to get them. It doesn't guarantee that you're not going to not get them. It's a matter of it's time to wait and see what develops. If it does come down that you've caught the measles or you become a victim of identity theft, then there are things that we can do to assist you.
Well, very important information. Jay Foley from the Identity Theft Resource Center in San Diego, thanks again for being with us.
You're more than welcome.
And you can get more information through the Identity Theft Resource Center website. That is idtheftcenter.org, or their phone number is area code 858-693-7935.